I was waiting for
Well, a
the
couple
owner
things,
to.
Eli, I'd like to say just
Okay.
before we start. Just a few things. One, I don't think anybody's going to want their money back for watching that one. So happy to get the win. Really proud of our team and the resiliency. And I just want to give a lot of credit to Steve Wilkes. That's a tough situation to be in. He's a hell of a coach. And I can't give Carolina enough credit and what he's done as an interim. That's not easy. To get a real long shot in Arizona. The guy's a hell of a football coach, and got to give Carolina and Steve Wilkes a lot of credit.
Arthur, just what is that wild swing of emotions? I know you're not an emotional guy, but like, what's that emotional toll like for you in those last 15 minutes, I guess, of real time?
Well, you just try to stay as even as possible. I mean, that's what you train yourself to do as a play caller, head coach, and you try as best as you can to stay neutral. One thing I got upset up, I let my emotions, possible call, trying to take a chunk to get in the field goal range. But, I didn't get a good look at it, but that was the only time I wasn't real happy with myself to show that emotion, because you got to make a lot of decisions. There's a lot of things that came up. Do you take the penalty on the extra point, or do you try to take it because you're potentially down one, you got 12 seconds, one timeout? Do you take it for field position, see if you can get a chunk, use the timeout and let Koo win it there? There's a lot of things going on there. So you choose to move it back. You happen to miss it. Take a shot. We didn't think, we kind of blocked it up to try to take one to see what would happen. Took it to overtime, took the ball. Tried to take another shot off a look we had seen, and they played it well, and they hit Marcus as he threw it. They get the ball back. Tried to freeze them. I mean, there's a lot going on there, and you've got to stay even, because if you don't, you're going to hurt the team, and that's what I try to pride myself on is being neutral.
The penalty that DJ Moore got, it looked like you and Marquise were talking very briefly. What was that discussion like in trying
That
to figure that out?
situation right there. I mean,
Yeah.
those are the decisions you get paid to make. And whether you take the penalty there to move him back, which is a longer extra point, or because, again, if he makes it, if you don't take it, it's a 1-point game, and do you think your odds are better with 12 seconds and a timeout to get a chunk and to see if, Koo could go win it? So those are what you're weighing those. And then obviously we made the right call because it went our way. But I'm sure you guys had a million stories you could have gone with. So good luck tonight, because I was probably had to delete a lot of different stories there.
Yes, we did. Coach, just could you speak to the composure of the team as you all are going through those peaks and valleys in this late through this game in the regulation and into overtime?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we believed, D-Led. I mean, we got a group of guys that, it's never, one side. I mean, we feel like we're a team, and all three phases. And we got guys that have stepped up. Very proud of, I don't give a crap what the stats say, but I'm proud of Cornell Armstrong and D. Hall. Guys kept swinging, right? You get in the situation, and it wasn't a true Hail Mary, so you're backed up trying to keep the ball in bounds, and give PJ credit, because you're not in a true Hail Mary situation, so you're in a deep cover two, trying to keep in bounds, because you're protecting a touchdown, and holy hell, he rolled out and launched it, and that's what you're saying, risk, reward. 3-man rush, pressure, 4-man rush, and he made a hell of a throw. But that was the situation there. We weren't in a pure Hail Mary, because they still had plenty of time, but he was able to get the play extension and launch it.
Can you speak to Marcus's play on the last drive? And then you talked about players stepping up. How about Demir Bird's play for you today?
Yeah, both those guys. Obviously, the game, we came out, something we had been working on, didn't start very great for us, right? Early on, we had the drop, and we took the shot. They picked it, and he came back, and I thought he played pretty damn good football. And he's a resilient guy. And then same thing in overtime. Tried to take a shot, risk reward. Obviously, they played it better than we did. And for him to come back, D-Led, get the ball back, and that play, I mean, that's why we believe in Marcus. Not many guys can make that play, and the moment's never too big for him. Yeah, sorry. Demir, another guy, been in our program, guy been around the league, just kept working. And Demir is a guy that we got a lot of faith in, and he's proved himself the last 2 weeks. Caught the 75-yarder Cincy, and then today on that one, Marcus was able to extend that play, and really the finish and the effort on the guys, not only when Demir caught it, when he put his foot in the ground, and the guys, and the effort of the whole team right there was pretty cool to watch.
When you're in a game like this and seeing opposing teams miss field goals, extra points, and having Youngway nail a 41-yarder to ultimately seal the win, how does this show the value of a guy, not just like Youngway, but to have a kicker who can go out and be able to do that?
Well, it's really all three of those guys, Liam and Bradley and Koo. I mean, you know about a team. Those are, you hope you're never talking an extra point at field goal about your holder and snapper. So you got to give them credit. And Bradley Pinion has been a hell of a acquisition for us. You know, the guy that can go in there if you want to kick touchbacks. I think he hit the goalpost on one of them. I believe he hit the back of it. Or he can, you know, he's got a different club selections and as a punter. We're happy Bradley's on his team. He's a damn good holder too. And then Youngway, like I said, we got all the faith in the world in Youngway. That's why I called it on third down. Something happen, get back up, and we'll kick it again. So just happy for these guys and this team.
I want to articulate this correctly. You always talk about being objective. So I'm just curious, in your mind, how do you weigh, you know, the game coming down to the wire? And yes, you do win, but you have opportunities down the stretch that it didn't have to go that long. How do you weigh that in your mind?
Well, there's a lot of them, right? I mean, we got a chance to end it, and I had a look at the tape. Thought we had a pretty good look at it. We ended up doing 4th and 3, and you're weighing right there. Do you go for it? But again, you're protecting a field goal. They got no timeouts, so make them protect. You know, make them go score a touchdown, right? So you kick it there. You know, I'd have to look at that too. I thought we had them drawn off sides. Obviously, that's not the case. And you're in there and you feel pretty good because it's really going to be checkdowns. But when he was able to extend that play, I mean, that was an unbelievable throw. And he did. He got behind us. And there's always things like that to correct. I mean, the way we started the game, you know, that's a good defense. And you know, we had a turnover early, and they were playing the field position game. So there's always stuff to look at.
Going back real quick to D-Led's question about Marcus, I mean, to go and have the interception late and then to put the drive together that y'all did to ultimately steal the win, I mean, can you walk me through of just the resilience that you see from Marcus in that moment specifically?
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy that's been through a lot, right? You win the Heisman, you're a number 2 pick, goes through a million staff changes in Tennessee. You know, going into a contract year, gets benched. You know, can't say enough about it, how he handled that situation. You come back and he goes out to Vegas and sits and watches and didn't think he'd ever get another opportunity. And it's a unique situation here. And he's got such a calm demeanor and understands that, you know, you're never out of it. And all of our guys believe that. You're never out of it. I mean, that was one of the craziest games I think I've ever been a part of. Happy to get the win any way we can, but I think I got a little grayer today.
Sorry, more specific on Marcus. His ability to navigate some tight pockets today and his decision-making on when to get out of there and when to hang, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to pick a certain way to rush him because, you know, you can't just go with the middle. You turn your back to him too much. I mean, he can hurt you, which happened in San Francisco when they pressured and essentially had their back to him in a hybrid zone pressure. So the way they rush him sometimes, they'll try to dent the pocket in, and which allows you to get around it. I mean, if you go around him and he steps up and he finds it, it's like pick your poison. So the rush plans that you're seeing on third down and in the schemes, whether they pressure or how they rush the tackles, that allowed him to get out there.
Any thoughts on being in first place in the NFC South?
Just happy to get the win, D-Led. And like I said, Monday, really tonight, you know, you gotta look at the tape, and we got to get on to the Chargers. But it's hard to win in this league, and we'll enjoy the win, but there's a lot of football left.
Following up.
Sure.
I mean, like you always talk about just kind of being even-keeled. How do you get this team now back to that as quick as you can?
Well, there's a lot to learn from, right? I mean, it broke our way, and then sometimes you need that to happen. So, I mean, you hope to learn the lesson after the San Fran game, and I think our guys have, but it's hard. It's a challenge every week. I mean, that's what we love about the NFL. That's why I love coaching in it. It's the most competitive professional league in all sports, and every game is so important.
And when you call the timeout to ice Pinheiro there, doesn't necessarily work a lot, it seems like.
It's the only thing you got left in your pocket, you know? I mean, I said, I mean, you go down with everything you got. So it's like, that's the only analogy I can give. That hadn't rung the bell yet, right? So one more punch and the last available tactic, and thankfully it went our way.
I don't know if this could be a fair question, but did you actually think it would work?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't. Thank you.
Have you ever been in a game that's with this wild of a finish?
You're good. I got you. Man, the NFL, it's wild, right? I've been a part of a couple, last year with the Raiders at the end of the season with the Chargers game. But this is probably definitely at the top. And just unbelievable job by our guys of just staying in the moment, staying present, understanding that, you know what, if there's time on the clock, we got a chance.
And when that field goal goes wide left, you got another opportunity. What's going on the sidelines at that point? It's like, hey, we got to go. Let's go.
Yeah, it really just comes down to executing, right? Given another chance to go and win the game. And, again, like I said, great job by our coaches, by the entire offense of finding ways to make plays to give Crew a chance at the end of the game.
Marcus, when you kind of look at this game and you weigh it, and I want to make sure I articulate this correctly, but it comes down to the wire. And yes, you do win the game, but how do you kind of weigh in your head? There were mistakes made throughout 4 quarters, and we had multiple chances to finish this thing early. I mean, how do you kind of weigh that in your head even as you go into this next week?
Well, first and foremost, it's tough to win in this league. It really is. And no matter what, however it comes about, just to enjoy it, With that being said, it's always easier to go in on Monday to look back at corrections when you won the game than it is when you lost. So, proud of our guys of staying in it and believing. Sometimes when you get into situations like that, guys kind of put their head down, but nobody did that on the sideline. And for me, it's really cool to be a part of that, and it says a lot about our guys.
When you look at kind of the first half and kind of the slow start offensively, how do you feel like this team kind of picked things up in the second quarter or second half, particularly in the third quarter?
I got to be better. I think the slow start, really, I wasn't executing. Could have got, the ball thrown away, take a bad sack. Obviously the pick early on. So I've got to be better. I got to be cleaner. And, again, like I said, our guys, they don't blink. Good plays, bad plays, they stay pretty even keel. And when those things happen, when bad things happen, our guys are ready to step up and make a play, and our guys did.
You've played with your fair share of different kickers and everything like that, but when you're in a game that you see an opposing team's kicker miss extra points, field goals, and then you have Youngway and you guys rely on him and you send him out there on 3rd and 9, I mean, what do you think that says about the value of a guy like Youngway Koo?
Oh, I can't explain how valuable he is, not only to this team, but really to football, right? I think he's got such a cool demeanor. He goes about his business the right way. He's always working hard. So it's no surprise to me when things get down to the wire that he makes these kicks.
Marcus, everybody is talking about how resilient you guys are, your teammates. What is it in your mind that makes it such a resilient team?
Guys are unselfish, which is hard in this league. It's being around it now for 8 years. You look around the league and it's kind of a me mentality. But what's cool about this locker room is guys are thinking more about the team, thinking about we, which makes it a lot of fun to play for and makes it a lot of fun to come to work. And no matter what, guys understand that it's not going to be perfect in every phase of the game, but one side's going to pick up the other. And as long as we've got that, we'll continue to be in these games, and I think we'll win more games than not.
Marcus, the 3rd and 1 in overtime, was that play supposed to be what it became?
Not necessarily. In those situations, I just try to make the most of it. And our guys did a great job blocking down the field and found a way to make a play to give Koo a chance.
So you guys had a season-high passing yards and a season-high point total. Kind of what does that say about the versatility of this team in the passing game? Because obviously you guys have been known for being a run team this year. What does that say about the versatility of this team with these passing weapons?
That's a great question. And what's really cool about this offense is week to week we can kind of change and do what we need to do to win. Like I said, it's not easy to do that. You got to have a bunch of guys that are very unselfish. When you got young cats like Kyle and Drake who should expect to get a bunch of targets, and sometimes they don't, but we're winning games, and they don't care. They just want to win. That is when this team can become just at another level. So given opportunities, guys are going to go make plays, and today was just one of those days where we had opportunities to make plays in the passing game.
I was talking to Jake Matthews in the locker room, and he made the comment. He was like, Marcus is someone that this offensive unit wants to play their best for, wants to win for. When you hear that, what does that make you feel?
Yeah, special, right? Like that's football's only going to be, so long, and really, like my legacy or how I perceive myself is really truly based off of that. Like, statistics are cool. Those things are fun to talk about, but I think the relationships are what mean most to me. And the fact of the matter is, when you got a group of guys that you enjoy playing for, it makes it that much more special.
Marcus, I know you spoke about your confidence a couple of weeks back. Coach did talk about just your resilience in general. Can you just speak on just your confidence right now?
Yeah, it feels great. It feels like it's where it should be. I understand that this game's imperfect, and I think sometimes throughout my career I try to be perfect, which can kind of derail some of my confidence. But it's at the end of the day, like if I'm given the opportunity to have the ball, and with the guys that we got, I truly believe in them, and that's where that confidence comes from. Is this group that we got, and as we go forward, we'll find ways to win games, whether it's throwing, whether it's running, and as we continue forward, it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of.
Forgive me, Marcus, if somebody's already asked you about the Demir catch, but at what point did you know he was gone when he was coming around the side there and turning the corner?
Once he put his foot in the ground and went back laterally, I was like, he's got a chance. And like I said earlier, like we've got a group of guys in that room that just they're special with the ball in their hands, and I just got to find ways to get in the rock. So I really try to focus my mentality on being a point guard because once the ball's in their hands, those guys will finish it.
A lot of tight pockets today in your decision making. You talk about your decision making on when to get out of there and go, and when to hang and try to find those guys. It felt like you found a good balance today.
Yeah, I honestly I don't even really think about it. I really just go out there and play. I really think that if I'm thinking about it, I play slow. So more times than not, if I feel like there's an opening, I just kind of play off of my instincts. I could clean up a few things, but at the end of the day, it's just about getting these guys the opportunity to have the ball in their hands.
With that Demir touchdown, I think it was Drake who had a nice block on it, and then also you think back to the touchdown with Tyler, the screen with, I think it was Drew Dahlman and Elijah Wilkinson. How did you evaluate, I guess, just like team blocking in this offense, blocking downfield for each other?
It's that unselfish mentality, and it really starts up top with the coaches. They do a great job of kind of setting that foundation, but you got to have guys that buy in, and this young group of guys really do believe in it. And again, like I said, that's what makes it fun coming into work, because at the end of the day, if you're not dealing with attitudes or kind of selfishness, it does make it kind of hard to come into work. But these guys don't care. They just want to win.
Top target tonight for you was Kyle Pitts. What did you see from him that allowed you to go to him as much as you did?
Yeah, he's tough to cover. And he is another guy, like I said, that we just got to continue to find ways to get in the ball. That little flat route that he caught that he turned into 30 or 40 yards, like that's what he's capable of doing. And more times than not, if we can do those things, just get him the rocks, he gets volume. It's gonna be good for us.
And obviously, Drake is always a guy that you can go to, and he might not have had the production he's had in other games this year, but kind of what does that say for him as a weapon, being able to be there even as a looming thought in defenders' minds, and what kind of luxury does that bring to your offense?
Right. I think it creates matchups that are very advantageous for us. I think Drake had a great game today. You talk about a guy that was he had a huge third down conversions by running great routes, and you know, again, like I said, when you're able to have guys kind of all over, and defenses can't really key in on certain players, it makes it tough on them. So the more times that I can get the ball to these guys, create space for them, allow them to do what they do, it's going to be good for us.
Marcus, we're 8 games in. Could you just talk about leading the division? You guys are out in front.
It's a lot. We got a long way to go. You know, and it is good, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, you know, our team goals are to win the division. You know, it is taking it one step at a time. And I think that's what's really cool about this team is we're not, you know, thinking about too far ahead or looking back in the past. We're just finding ways to kind of stay in the moment. And if we continue to do that, I think we'll like where we're at.